let's talk a little bit more about this gay community, this LGBT community in Spain. We see, I compare from Brazil, for example. My sister, she is homosexual. Myself, I suffer a lot of prejudice when I was young from people calling me gay, and I was feeling bad about it, especially because I realized that it's not a proper way to diminish people, and some people use that to criticize or, diminish people. I'm the guy that really fights for the right of the people, because I have my sister that's homosexual and I have many good friends, gays. I think here in Spain it's much open than many countries, like if I compare to Brazil, for example. Brazil, the discrimination, the prejudice is huge. And here, like, I realized after coming to live in Spain that being different is something normal. That's something I realized at the beginning. And in other countries like Brazil or maybe Philippines, being different, you are guilty, you are doing something wrong, like grow up with this sensation is not good. It's good to live in a place like Spain, very open mind about these topics. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, coming from the Philippines, I would say it's accepted more than before. When I grew up in the Philippines, there are a lot of prejudice, which is quite common anywhere anyways. Well, the kids nowadays are quite lucky to have this kind of environment that it's really open and it's more accepted and it's not frowned upon, or people are not judging quite a lot because it's more accepted. In New Zealand, that is where Paul and I, my husband and I, got married. It's celebrated in New Zealand, so we don't have any problems back home in New Zealand. And even before coming to Spain, we researched about, the gay community and the LGBT community here. And we know that it's really accepted in here and it's celebrated as well. We really don't have any problems with that. What surprised me, because we moved to a house that is predominantly Spanish people around us, and they're not young people. You can say they're elderly or they're at a certain age. What I've noticed is, and what surprised me, is there's no prejudice from them. They immediately know that we are a gay couple. They immediately know that we're husbands, and there are only two people living in that house, and both are men. I was introduced as mi marido, which is husband, to them, and you can't see any prejudice in their eyes. For them, it's just like common. We're married, we existed, it's normal. I don't know what they talk behind their backs, but if, face to face with them, the way they chat to them, converse with us, I don't see any prejudice or anything at all. Even when I started my business here, I didn't see any prejudice at all, didn't experience any prejudice at all, which I'm really happy about. Even my first clients in my shop, so I just recently opened, the first few people that came in were the gay community, the LGBT community, and they're all artists, and you can see that they're living their lives in Spain, here in Estepona, Costa del Sol, as freely as they want to. And there's no shame, there's no prejudice. They can kiss, they can hold hands. It's nothing at all. So that gives me a stamp of approval that I'm in the right space, I'm in the right location, I'm in the right country. Yeah, that makes me happy.
So we both know Spain is one of the best countries to be LGBTQ community, and I'm just having a look here. Canada, Spain, Netherlands, Portugal, Sweden, Norway, Iceland, Germany, France, and New Zealand and Uruguay are the best places for being LGBT community. The Madrid, Barcelona, and Berlin are one of the best cities for being. But we can include Torremolinos here as well. Torremolinos is quite famous in Costa del Sol, for having parties, like beach parties with the gay community. Also, we know that Spain was the third country which allowed same-sex marriage. And you mentioned before that New Zealand as well, they allow to get married there, and it's important to know this information, because I think more and more the people are open their mind now for homosexuals. They're looking for the rights. I think it's important journey of everyone connected with this community, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it should be the rest of the world, isn't it? I mean, it shouldn't even be an issue. It shouldn't even be a topic. It shouldn't even be a discussion, in my opinion, because it's normal. We exist since the beginning of time, so it should be accepted in the rest of the world. But I mean, in the Philippines, it's still quite different when I was growing up, because back in the day, there are a lot of prejudice and you feel ashamed of being gay, because there are a lot of influences from Catholicism, because the Philippines is a Catholic country. We were colonized by Spain for 300 years, so we practice the same culture and the same religion. And in that religion, of course, being gay is pretty much a sin. So back in the day in the Philippines, when I was growing up gay, I can't even express myself because it's frowned upon. Even your friends will probably laugh at you and probably will be judgmental about you, and you can't really express yourself because, again, like what I said, it's frowned upon, and they would say that it's illegal in the eyes of the country and the eyes of God. Yeah, I mean, you can discuss everything about the gay community, being gay, what's accepted, what is not, but at the end of the day, for us, it's normal. We exist, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. I think it's important to share this information with people. You came from Philippines, from your country of origin, and then you moved to New Zealand, and now you are in Spain. But there are still many countries like in Saudi Arabia, Iran, Yemen, or even Qatar. You can get death penalty. You can go to jail easy because you are gay. We are trying here to bring this information for people that want to live a better life, a happier life, to be themselves. So how do you say, to get out of the closet? Do you say in Brazil they
come
say,
out of the closet?
Come out of the closet to be themselves, to be relaxed and happy to be themselves. And this repression have to stop, because also in Russia, for example, is a country that's very repressive with gays.
We can keep on talking about the LGBT community being gay. Nobody wants to accept it. Say, for example, in the countries that you've mentioned, or in certain communities, if nobody wants to accept that being gay is normal and it exists, it's part of humanity, then who's the loser in that context? Not us. It's them, because they don't want to accept the truth behind sexuality and that we exist. There's gay people around. There's the LGBT community. That's why I think if you're in a certain space wherein you couldn't express yourself and you're having a hard time, people are judging you, the people around your family, even your family can judge you, for Christ's sake. If they're judging you, there are spaces where you can move to that accepts you and loves you, which what I did. I'm from the Philippines. It was frowned upon. It wasn't accepted when I was growing back then. So I have the option to move because my family was based primarily in New Zealand. I have that option to move, and in New Zealand it's widely accepted. It's a no-brainer. You move, because I can't be in the closet, for days and just hate myself. And what happened these days is some of them, which is quite sad, they turn into suicidal mode. Because they hate themselves. They couldn't express themselves. They couldn't come out, for the lack of a better term. And this is sad, because why couldn't you just let those kids be themselves? If they were born that way. It's not something that they chose. No.
And with this repressive culture, we can grow kids with mental problems, just be doubting themselves. They grow up with no self-confidence. For what? For maybe a suicidal, or maybe a depression later, because they don't accept themselves. And I think it's really, really important. We have a deep look inside of what society is doing in this kind of culture that repress this. I think they should change.